Hello, my name is Amela Derrick. I decided to do option number 2 for my research paper, which discusses 3 ways the media obstructs women's representation in politics, 2 ways that the media can serve as a powerful tool for increasing women's representation in politics, and then also 3 different sets of rules that I would have if I was a campaign manager for my candidate. Within my paper, what I focused on was 3 different ways the media obstructs women's representation in politics, and the 3 that I chose to really focus in on was the fact that women do not get as much media coverage as their male counterparts. Also that it shows stereotypical communication styles, and then also they did not use women as credible sources when referencing different material. When discussing public policy, men were noted to look at hard issues as opposed to women who looked at soft issues. So this includes education, health care, women's rights, environment, things of that sort, while men focused more on, defense and tax and things of that sort. So men would get a lot more coverage on those topics than women did. Women were also predominantly asked how they maintained all of this and how they juggled being a mother, being a wife, and then of course holding a seat in a political position, while men were normally praised for being able to do so. Female senators and other candidates were also looked at through the double bind, which we discussed a lot in class. So it suggests that leaders are expected to be tough and assertive, yet feminine. So we focus on their appearance and what they're wearing, family factors, and expect them to be good wives and mothers, while we don't necessarily do or focus as much of that attention on men and being a father and being a husband, because those roles are just expected from male counterparts. When it comes to communication, the styles differ when it comes to men and females. Although women emphasize their policy priorities more than men, they still receive less press attention. And then there's also just a pattern of disconnect. What females discuss usually isn't portrayed by the media. So while they discuss their leadership backgrounds much more than their male counterparts, the news doesn't cover this as often. And although women don't receive as much criticism as do their male counterparts, this can be attributed to the fact that they don't get as much coverage. So you don't have the same amount of data to kind of compare the criticism, because women do get less of that coverage. So they're just kind of seen as of right now that they don't get as much criticism. Also, the fact that female senators are less likely to be questioned and quoted in their local newspapers and media outlets is another way that the media obstructs women candidates. This type of detachment from media and media outlets and female candidates and officials in what American populations are seeing as credible, and it makes the position to be a leader much more challenging for women. A woman in politics that I discussed a lot in my paper was Hillary Clinton. There was a time in 2012 where she went over to India, and there was a news article that came out that discussed her lack of makeup. And what Hillary was quoted saying was, at some point it's just not something that deserves a lot of attention. So what she wants to focus more on is the reason behind her visit as opposed to her appearance during the visit. Although women and men have may have similar or opposing views and positions on the subject at hand, the media can be shown to repeatedly use men as major resources when it comes to candidates. While America holds the 78th position in regards of women's political representation, the gender gap does see a decrease. As mentioned in the article Women in Politics, Why We Need More Women in Office, the women in America need to see a set of women representing women in politics, because it sets a foundation for young girls to see what future positions they can fulfill. So, young girls can't be what they can't see. So by seeing women holding these positions, they're able to get ambition to fill those positions in the future. Which, political ambition was a huge topic within the class. It also, another way that media can be served as a powerful tool for women, it can set platforms, and it allows them to showcase their work for their candidacy. Media outlets have exposed Hillary Clinton's support team. So, Barack Obama was quoted saying, "You're likable." So it kind of includes his entire population exposed to Hillary Clinton. And then, Hillary Clinton again was quoted saying that she is excited to be running as the first woman for president, but the reason behind her running isn't because she's a woman. So there's kind of like a disconnect that, we're focusing on policies and issues as opposed to gender. And then just to kind of wrap things up, the media, especially one that is visual, being that the pictures, says 1,000 words, can be used as a tool for female representation. So it can kind of shed light on an issue and a perspective that a woman might bring into office, regardless if it's on hard issues or soft issues. And then last but not least, the 3 rules that I would kind of instruct my candidate to use would be: 1, I would make sure that my candidate only speaks or answers to questions that they have a predetermined answer to or a definite answer to. So that way it won't be misquoted or misinterpreted, and it would be based off of facts. So that way the media won't be able to kind of misconstrue that. Another one would be that I would advise my candidate to use social media as an advantage. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, those are all resources that can reach an entire, population that might not be reached through, TV or commercials or radio. So that way that population grows as well. And then last but not least, I would make sure that my candidate does not slander or, throw any shade to any other candidate. That way there's no kind of negative attention brought to my candidate, and all of that dirty work can kind of be left to everybody else. But yeah, those are my 3 rules. Overall, women's representation has been shown to be different than males, but I think that the focus of attention towards this matter is starting to open up kind of studies and kind of, make the media become a little less biased, so we can start focusing more on issues and policies and law and regulations and all of that good stuff, instead of the fact that, it's a female and those stereotypes that come with it. And that is all. I hope you guys enjoyed my video. Thank you.